Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Okay, so here's the long and short of it. My mother-in-law, Alice, had been entrusted by my late father-in-law to handle the execution of his will. He had been suffering from leukemia for a very long time, so it was not sudden, and all his plans had been already made. My husband and I received some part of the money that he had left behind, and everything else went to Alice and my sister-in-law. We were also told that there was also a college fund that they had left for our son, who had been 12 at the time, but that was in a trust, and nobody apart from my mother-in-law would be able to access that until he turned 18. We were fine with that. My husband and I were good with money, and if it belonged to our son, we were not interested in taking it away from him either. Obviously, that was 6 years back, and since then, time and again, Alice has told us and reassured us that the money is safe, and when the time comes, we won't have to worry about paying off all the college tuition for our son by ourselves, because we will have help. So that's what we've been going by, and we haven't been too worried about money. My son has started applying to colleges, and in a couple of months he's about to start college in the fall. So naturally, I thought that it was about time that we finally brought it up with Alice and started discussing the college fund that she had spoken of and her late husband had arranged for her. We didn't know much about it, though we had asked a lot of times. But she just kept telling us that she would handle it all when the time came, and we didn't have to worry about it. And we didn't want to seem greedy, so we tried not to ask about it too often. Most importantly, we really didn't have a reason to doubt her intentions. She has always been good to us, so we trusted her. But recently we found out that we shouldn't have done that, because we were told that she's blown all the money by investing it all in my sister-in-law's business. Kelly, my sister-in-law, started a real estate business 1 year ago, and it hasn't exactly been doing well, but that's besides the point. Apparently, my mother-in-law lent her some money to start the business in the beginning, and the fun part is that she's not even a shareholder. It was just some seed money that Kelly borrowed from her and has never bothered to return. I don't think she can even afford to return it even if she wanted to, so that's that. Alice told me that at the time she didn't have the kind of money that Kelly was asking for, so she decided to take some money from the college fund because she wanted to help her daughter, and she thought that she would have it back in no time, and people would be none the wiser, but that didn't end up happening. And in the past couple of months, she's tried many times to ask Kelly for the money back, but she hasn't been able to work up the courage to do it. So now she has decided to come clean to us and tell us the truth and let us deal with the situation, because at the end of the day, she just didn't have the money. The day she told us, we were having a discussion about the college fund in the living room with her, and my son was also present there. Obviously, as soon as she told us what had happened, my husband and I were very upset. But it was nothing in comparison to how my son reacted. He freaked out. He started yelling at his grandma, saying that she had no right to give us false hope for so long, and continuously saying that she had it all handled when she knew fully well that she didn't. He called her out for lying to us and said that she had actually committed the crime by doing what she did, and he didn't want to speak to her. They got into a pretty bad fight, and after that Alice left. While they were fighting and arguing, we let them have it out. We did not intervene. Afterwards, Alice called us up and said that she wanted to sort things out. We were still pretty upset, so we told her that there was nothing to be sorted out and that we had to take this up legally because we really needed that money back. She knew very well that that money had been left behind for my son, not for her use or even for Kelly. She had received her own share of the inheritance, and if she hadn't done anything good with it, that was her problem. She did not deserve my son's share as well. There was nothing to do now. She could either return the money to us or hope for the best, because we would be coming after her with lawyers. And then she started screaming at us, saying that she had noticed how we had refused to speak up on her behalf and control our son, and let him scream at her and get into the terrible fight without even speaking a word. She told us that we were being terrible parents for allowing our son to be so selfish and letting him scream at his own grandmother. We did not think that there was anything wrong with that, and we told her the same, that my son had a lot of emotions about whatever had happened, and he had the right to scream at her or say whatever he wanted, because she had literally spent his college fund, and of course he was going to lose his temper. She should have seen that coming, and we encouraged him to speak his mind, so we thought it was completely fair, and it's not like she kept quiet. She defended herself, and she said a lot of things to him as well, so it was between the two of them. We had nothing to do with it, but she was very determined to make us look like the bad guys, so she kept insisting that we had to get him to apologize to her for the way he spoke to her, and said that we were all being selfish, and we needed to think about her and Kelly as well, instead of being so self-centered. But in the end, we told her that we would be speaking to a lawyer, and there are no two ways about it. Then we hung up, and we haven't spoken to her since. It's been a few days, and we are in the talks with a lawyer. But we have been thinking about what she said, and maybe we are being selfish. I don't know. It's just that we've had a good relationship with Alice so far, and we don't want to ruin it. But to be honest, we feel like she's the one who has ruined it, and it's just very confusing. So, am I an idiot for wanting to go after my mother-in-law with a lawyer because she spent my son's college fund? Not an idiot. What OP's mother-in-law did wasn't just a family mistake. It was a breach of trust and potentially a legal violation. That money was not hers, not Kelly's, and not some informal family loan fund. It was specifically set aside for OP's son's education, and she knowingly used it anyway while repeatedly lying to OP for years. OP's son's reaction was completely understandable. She stole his future safety net. Expecting calm gratitude in that moment is absurd. And now let's hear community's opinion. The part that really seals this for me is that she kept reassuring you for 6 years while knowing the money was gone. That wasn't panic or poor judgment. That was sustained deception. She didn't confess because it was the right thing to do. She confessed because she ran out of time. And now she's trying to shift blame by calling your son selfish instead of owning what she did. Lawyer up and don't let guilt talk you out of protecting your kid. Your son didn't disrespect his grandmother. He reacted to finding out an adult he trusted blew his college fund on someone else's failing business. He's allowed to be angry, loud, and emotional about that. Frankly, it would have been concerning if he wasn't. The fact that your mother-in-law is more upset about being yelled at than about what she actually did tells you everything you need to know about her priorities. It's understandable that you're second-guessing yourselves because you used to have a good relationship with her. But good relationships don't survive lies of this magnitude. She chose Kelly over your son, gambled with money that wasn't hers, and now wants everyone else to absorb the consequences, so she doesn't have to confront her daughter. Going to a lawyer isn't selfish. It's literally your job as parents to protect your child's future. Not an idiot. Update 1. Hey, so thank you so much to everybody who commented on my post. Thank you a lot because it really convinced us that we were doing the right thing. Honestly, we were feeling a little confused about what to do and how to go ahead in the situation because we have had a good relationship with Alice so far, like I said in the beginning, but right now there is nothing else that we can do. If the relationship is ruined because we have to go after her with a lawyer, then it is what it is. I can't help it. The bottom line is that the money that had been left, it was my son's college fund. It was not for her to invest in her daughter's business, especially knowing Kelly's history. I didn't mention it in my post because I thought that it would be a lot of things to talk about, but then I think it's important and relevant. So here's the deal. I have to say it. Spending money on Kelly and investing in anything that she wants, it's basically flushing money down the drain. Kelly never went to college. She has been a spoiled brat her entire life, and that's why even her father, when he passed away, did not leave a lot of money to her. He left her half of whatever he had left to me and my husband, which is still a significant amount, but he was right to not leave a bunch of money to her because she was going to make the worst of it, and we all know it. She tried her hand at a lot of things. She can never stick to one thing. So I don't know how she's managed to stick to this real estate business for 1 year. But then again, even that's not doing very well, and I'm pretty sure it's because her heart is not in it. The problem is that she doesn't know what she wants to do, and that's it. She's only truly interested in partying, showing off her social life, and buying expensive things. But she's not interested in working for any of it. That's it. And to give a person like this money, to steal it from my son's college fund, it's unacceptable. Alice has always had a soft spot for Kelly. She's always been her mom's favorite, and we all know that. But that's not an excuse for her to do whatever she wants and expect us all to be fine with it, because it's just not right. So yes, we are going after her legally because I don't see any point in not doing so. She should have known what the repercussions of this were going to be. And honestly, I think a part of me believes that she knew exactly what was going to happen. But she decided that she would rather pick a fight with us and spend our money than say no to her daughter. I think that's the crux of the matter, and it's very insulting because she knows that she was not exactly taking away money from us. She was taking money away from her grandson. And we know that she's always claimed that he's very important to her. Stuff like that, but not more important than Kelly, evidently. Anyway, we want that money back, so we are going to go through with this no matter what it takes. We have spoken to our son about it as well, and he told me that he really does want that college fund back because that's what his grandfather had left behind for him, not for his aunt. So our feelings on this matter are the same, and even my husband agrees that Alice was way out of line doing this. It's going to take some time, but we are sure that we will win. And to be honest, this is more important to us than just winning and getting the money back. It's about what's right and what's wrong. And I think everybody who went through our original post and knows our situation knows that we are right. In spite of that, Alice left no stone unturned to make sure that we believed, even if it was just for a short while, that we were in the wrong and that we were the ones being selfish. I think it was the gaslighting that made things much worse. If she had just apologized and left it at that, maybe things would have taken a different turn, but we'll never know. Update 2. Okay, so it's been 24 hours since my last update, and I'm quite shocked that I'm posting here so soon, but the situation calls for it, I guess. A couple of hours ago, Alice showed up at our house once again, and it was quite a surprise because after our last interaction, and how badly it went, we were really not expecting her to be here anytime soon. We thought that maybe she was going to let the legal proceedings run their course and not speak to us in the meantime. But we were proven wrong because she showed up and she had a check with her. It was all filled out and signed, and the amount that was in it was quite a significant sum. Once we let her in, she also showed us some other documents, and we were able to confirm that the amount that she was giving back to us was the same amount that my father-in-law had left for our son. We were kind of taken aback by this kind of thing, and she could see that we were surprised. So she told us that she had thought about it, and she had decided to give us the money back, not out of the kindness of her own heart or anything, but because she just did not want anything to do with us in the future. And I think that was an even bigger shock for us because given the situation, I thought that she was here to apologize to us. But clearly we had misread things. She was not here to apologize at all. She was here to guilt trip us and make us feel like we were the bad guys. It became very clear very quickly that she was here to write us a check, to show us that she was giving us the money back, not as an apology, but to show how magnanimous she was. She wanted us to feel small, and that's why she was doing all this. Just to put an end to all of this as if we were the ones hungry for money, and she was the source of all the money, when that was not the case at all. It had been my father-in-law who had left that money, and we were only asking for what was rightfully ours. Actually, not even ours. It was our son's. My husband and I were not fools. We could read through the situation quite easily, and we accepted the check without making much of a fuss about it. She went on and on about how betrayed she felt, and it was clear that she was not exactly willing to part with that check. It had probably just been a symbolic thing, and she had thought that maybe we would decline to accept it, and we would go back to how we were before, and apologies would be made to fix everything. But unfortunately, when it comes to our son, we don't care much about anybody else. If her feelings are hurt, then so be it. Our feelings were hurt too when we found out that she had given away that money to Kelly, and we were also not really excited about going after her legally. So she saved us the trouble, and for that we were grateful. But apart from that, I don't think that we have anything to be grateful for to her, especially in this current scenario right here. She was just fixing her own mistakes. I don't think that's something that we had to applaud her for and pretend that she was so great for doing the bare minimum. Anyway, after she was done handing over the check to us, it got pretty awkward because we were really expecting her to leave afterwards. Instead, she just sat there and she started telling us that she had sacrificed so much for her kids, and now she felt like her own children did not even care about her and were willing to villainize her for the smallest of things. She claimed that my husband was perfectly capable of paying for our son's college himself. especially given the fact that I am a working woman too, so we have our own family. We can support each other. But Kelly has nobody apart from her, and that should count for something that should have made us feel a little sorry for her. But instead, we decided to be cruel about the whole thing, and that's why she has had to make this very tough decision of cutting us out of her life. I thought it was really weird for her to make it all our fault, because that was not the case. I think everyone knows that by now, and even she knows that, which is why she was trying so hard to sell her theory. But I was not buying it. I immediately called her out on it, and I told her that the reason Kelly did not have her own family was because of herself. She had obviously been willing in the past to get married and settle down, but she always ended up either screwing up the relationship on her own or cheating. Now tell me, why would anybody want to be with someone like that? It was not just in her career that she was unsure of what she wanted. Even with relationships, she had no idea. She was a woman in her late 30s, and this kind of behavior was only tolerable when you were in your 20s. Maybe not even then, but in your 40s, this is just unacceptable. So it was her own fault that she had not been able to find anybody and settle down. That was not our problem to deal with, and most importantly, it was definitely not something that my son had to think about. He had been promised a college fund by his grandfather, and she was nobody to take that away from him. Neither was Kelly. That was it. And then she started telling me that this was nothing to do with me. I was not even a part of the family, so I had no right to talk about any of this. She was pretty mean about the whole thing as well. And I don't even know what she meant by saying that I was not part of the family. I've been a part of the family for many years now. My son's almost 18, and I've been married to my husband for more than 20 years now. I've known him and his family for even longer, so you do the math. I'm definitely a part of the family. She can't just change it as per her convenience. And I told her that since I was not part of the family, and since this was my home with her son, she would probably not want to trouble us anymore since we were not family. So I asked her to leave very politely. Then she flared up, saying that even if I was not family, her son still was. So she was going to spend as much time as she liked here, and she did not have to ask for permission from me. Then naturally, I decided to ask my husband if he wanted his mother to stay here, since she thought that I was not family. And my husband made it very clear that whatever I say is what goes. And then Alice started screaming at both of us. She said that we were being incredibly selfish. She wanted the check back, but we were not stupid. We told her that she was not getting that back, that it was for our son, and she had no right to take it or ask for it back. She said that she was going to make sure that it got canceled somehow, but we knew that she was bluffing, so we didn't take that too seriously. We had a minor argument afterwards. She called us selfish. She screamed at us for quite some time, and honestly, we didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. But in the end, she got very huffy, because she could see that we were taking this whole episode as a joke and nothing more. And then she left, saying that she was never going to speak to us again, that we were going to face the consequences of this. Whatever that means. But that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that we got the money back, and we are going to cash in that check as soon as we can because we are not willing to take any risks, just in case she was not joking. At least now we won't have to go through the trouble of dealing with all of this legally. That would have really been a waste of time and energy, and we are grateful that we were able to save on that. Update 3. Hey, so we did get the money back about 1 week ago, and we were able to cash in the check. No issues there. But unfortunately, I don't think that there is going to be any end to all this drama anytime soon. Just a few days after that last conversation, or rather fight with Alice, Kelly got in touch with us. We usually only stick to birthdays or holidays to talk to each other and wish each other. But this time, she texted both me and my husband, and she told us that she was very disappointed in the both of us, especially after everything that their mother had done for them, all the sacrifices that she had made and stuff. My husband was really annoyed by that text because honestly, that cannot be an excuse for her to do whatever she wants. Just because she made some sacrifices that every parent makes, it doesn't make her special and definitely doesn't give her the license to do as she pleases and get away with that. There are going to be repercussions of everything. That's just how life works. Like right now, even we are facing the repercussions of doing what we thought was right. That's just it. You don't see us complaining about it and trying to play the victim, even though given the circumstances, we probably are the victims. But anyway, when she did not get a response out of us, she decided to go after our son. She texted him saying that she was very disappointed in him as well, because he had been very selfish and he should have thought of his grandmother first and forgiven her instead of losing his temper and treating her so cruelly and allowing us to treat her like this as well. She called him disrespectful, ungrateful, and said that she was ashamed to have a nephew like him, who could not think about anybody apart from himself. My son did not tell me about it as soon as it happened, but he told us after he had responded. And, well, I don't condone being disrespectful towards other people, but I think sometimes the situation calls for it. Like in this case, it definitely did call for it, because my son literally just copied the text that his aunt had sent him and told her that he was also ashamed of having an aunt like her, who could not think about anybody else apart from herself. And he sent that text to her, and then he got blocked. But it was totally worth it. And even though we tried to tell him that this was not fine, it was really hard to do that because it was so funny. Anyway, since she had dragged our son into this for no reason, we decided to block her as well because we really did not want anything to do with her. As it is, we hardly talk to each other. We are barely family. So it really wasn't that difficult for us, honestly. And that was that. But that was not the end of it, because yesterday in the evening, my husband received a text from his mother. Alice doesn't usually text. She usually calls. So that was a bit odd, but we decided to go through it anyway. We hadn't blocked her. There were a lot of reasons for that, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, in the message she had said that she was shattered, that she was being treated like this by the people she considered the closest to her. She said that she didn't have a lot of friends, and after her husband had passed away, she had been very lonely, and we had been her only source of emotional support. And for her to be treated this way by the only people she trusted was heartbreaking. She included me in that text as well, saying that she had said that it was not a part of the family in the heat of the moment during that argument last time. But she didn't really mean it, and I knew that. I don't know if it was an apology or not, because even though it sounded like one, she had never exactly said the words that she was apologizing or that she was sorry for anything. She was just explaining everything away. That's what it really felt like, but that's not the point. In the text, she said that a lot of things had happened in the past couple of days, and most of them should not have happened. She said that she was pretty sure that both sides regretted everything, especially because we are family at the end of the day. She also said that it was not like she was taking the money for herself. It was going to go to Kelly anyway, and she knows that it was not the right thing to do, but she really wanted to help her daughter. She said that she was just feeling bad about everything that had happened, and she wanted to sort things out, so she would really appreciate it if we came over for dinner the following weekend. Honestly, we didn't know how to go about that, so we have decided to take some time and think about what we want to do. Now coming to the reason why she had never been blocked by us even though a lot of things had taken place. Basically, she's aged now, and we have heard of several cases where elderly parents are trying to get through to their kids by calling or texting them, and have failed to do so, which has resulted in their kids never being able to see their parents or speak to them for one last time, because it's been too late by the time they've been found. And we don't want that to happen with Alice, no matter our current differences. I think that's pretty reasonable for not wanting to block her. So that's the reason why. Update 4. So it's been a couple of days since my last update, and today my husband and I went over to Alice's place for dinner with our son. We were all feeling pretty awkward, because we had all fought with her and we did not know what to expect. But once we got there, Alice welcomed us pretty warmly, and then once we were all inside, she apologized to all of us. Not just me and my husband, but also her grandson, and said that she was the one who had made a huge mistake by supporting Kelly, and that she had realized that now. So she really wanted all of us to forgive her and wanted to have a fresh start with us. It was pretty shocking because, like I said, Kelly had always been her favorite, so this was unusual. But then she explained that in the past couple of days, Kelly was the one who had been egging her on to turn against us. She had basically been brainwashing Alice against all of us to make herself look better, and Alice had unfortunately fallen for it. But thankfully, it was actually the text that my son had sent that pulled off the blindfold. Because Kelly had obviously been very upset when she received that text from my son, and she found that very insulting, which was the intent. So she decided to rant about it to Alice, and while ranting about it, she ended up saying that she was very glad that she had taken away the college fund for my son, because he did not deserve it anyway. Alice did not like that, And even though she was fighting with us, she decided to take a stand against that, and she had a pretty heated argument with Kelly over that. That was when she realized that she had screwed things up and had been manipulated by Kelly all along, and her favoritism had unfortunately not allowed her to see through that. But now that she knew the facts, she knew that she had to set things right, which is why she had invited us over for dinner to sort things out with us. I wouldn't say that one dinner together helped us talk through everything. It obviously didn't, but at least it was a start. And I think it's a good start. I think we can work forward from here and make things right again if that's what all of us want. So I don't regret going over to her place, and I don't think anybody else does either.